player will always be going. You see the records: Dave Koenig 11-6-1, Austin Shin 13-5 in first place on the right, and off we go. Dave going first here. So Austin's right on the cusp. This is round 19. There's 20 rounds total in this event. So Austin is right there. He's a win and a half above Dave with 2 games to go. And a full win and a lot of spread points above Josh Castellano with 2 games to go. So, oh man, but Dave's got a nice rack to start here. He, unlike Josh Castellano in the previous game, who opened with a Z on his rack, but no way to connect it to a double letter score, Dave absolutely has many options that will allow him to score about 40, 48 points or 50 with Azione. He could opt to play Zoil, Zonai, Zonal. There's a bunch of options for him here. Agreeing with you guys that, agreeing with Jello Mochas that Azione is probably the best option for him here, but let's see. Zoil has an advantage to it. Oh, as Conrad got his power chord sorted.
I have the power chord sorted. I moved to a new spot a few tables over, and I am at such a table now such that I can pretty much guarantee that Axer Typo and other people will probably try to make cameos based on where I am. That should not be hard.
Interesting. Well, that's, I guess, reasonable that they would want to do a cameo. But all right, Zoil looks like to play, keeping IN together. And maybe that is worth the 2-point sacrifice here. Tough to say. I think it's close between this and Azione. Again, I'm probably mangling that pronunciation, but that's okay.
Zione, I don't know.
Is that? Well, let's see what it means.
I have no idea.
Oh, Italian, yeah, definitely.
Oh, I was right.
Azione.
That was a total guess.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Gotta give it a little.
Look at that pickup for
wow,
Dave.
Very nice.
I don't know if anyone else noticed that big tell from Dave there, but his posture totally changed as soon as he looked at those tiles. If I were Austin, I would have been, okay, Dave has something. I don't know if it's a bingo, but I know it's something.
Yeah, so that's interesting to think that you could potentially watch Dave closely and see how good his racks are by his body language. That's a very common thing in poker and stuff like that from players that, oh, sorry, the score, right, thank you. It's going to be 48 for Dave to start. Okay.
And a little shout out to one of your best buds, Noah SL, who was looking up Healy.
Very nice. Hello, Noah. So yeah, Healy, I guess, would be some kind of like I don't know what, like a skateboard trick or something, or oh no, the Healy shoes, right?
Yeah.
Healy, aren't Heelys like the shoes that have wheels in them?
So here's my question: Is that a thing that the Gen Zers like these days, or
shoes with wheels in them?
Or did you just date yourself? I have no idea, which means I just dated myself.
I mean, I have no idea. I don't know.
I had soap shoes when I was like in 6th grade.
I'm not a big shoe guy. I'm not a big sneakerhead, so I'm not up on that sort of thing. Oh, hey, oh, look at that. Austin has Hail set up on his rack as a nice underlapping play. This looks very good, I think. He could have played a little shorter, leaving a good bingo leave, but the board wasn't great for bingoing after those plays. I think it's fine to take a bunch of extra points here with Hail. And Dave is still going to bingo, for sure. Well, I mean, he's going to challenge, too.
Okay.
Ooh, look at this. Challenge cam. Challenge cam is working, and wow, beautiful. You can see Hail is the word challenged, and yes, the play is valid. Beautiful. Challenge cam working as intended. Tremendous.
Now, one day when we aren't masked up, we'll be able to see better facial expressions, I suppose. But for now, pretty
Yeah.
freaking cool.
Yeah.
So,
Very, very cool.
Yeah, it'll be an extra 5 points here for Austin, but no worries for Dave, who's immediately going to slap down Terminal, and he will strap it down because
he's strapping it down.
Yeah, that ain't coming off the board. We all know that that's over.
Yeah, you can strap. Yes, you can strap that one down for sure. But yeah, that's a pretty clear, obvious play for Dave here. 89 points, hitting the M on the double letter score and the entire word on the triple. That's going to bring him to 137. Austin getting 42 points, 37 for Hale, and 5 for the challenge. So back to Austin. He could play Zakat here from ZA on the board. That looks clearly best. He's got two. Yeah, he's got 2 T's. Whenever you have duplicated letters, it's always a good objective to try to use one of those. And he can do just that with Zakat.
And but that won't end well for him in the sense that Dave looks like he's going to be able to play another bingo.
Oh, wow. Even if Austin sees that, yeah, Dave's got good tiles for sure. Madison's looks like it's lined up on his rack to go off of the M of terminal. So Dave's... I think you're right that maybe it didn't. So a question from Cast Studio. Normally in some challenge rules, you would lose a turn for challenging, but the players are playing with a point challenge rule. So what that means is if you challenge a word and it's valid, you don't lose your turn. Your opponent just gets 5 more points. Yeah, I should have that commanded, actually. Let me, maybe I can add that.
Oh, does that already, I figured you'd already be ahead of me there. I was just like, oh, that was cool.
I will add it now.
You say, Jalopik, you say this is not Bluff Scrabble, but remember, these are the 2 players who had meadowed stay on the board, which honestly, probably wasn't a bluff, but like was the exact sort of play you would consider bluffing with if you knew it was not a word. So it does look like Dave is going to bingo here. We do know that he has seen Madison's. There are other options. Yeah, I mean,
let's try this.
We will see a bingo here.
There we go. Okay, so hopefully that helps. All right, let me see. Oh, Zakat was played. Very nice. That's absolutely the correct play by Austin. Well spotted to see that you can tack some letters on to Za on the board. And yeah, up for debate is where should Dave play. He had Madison's lined up. That would have put an S in the triple lane. It looks like he's considering Anodizes, which has its own major problems of a very, very big scoring spot on top of the O of Anodizes through the E of terminal. So
the re-inked noting Madison's obviously the correct play. As we know,
it's certainly correct in this situation, being able to see that Austin's rack consists of 1 point tiles and a lot of duplicates, including 2 I's, which make it always really difficult to score. I mean, Austin's scoring potential on his next rack is really bad. So I think Anodizes is I don't know. I mean, those 2 plays are really close normally.
Well, don't forget last time Dave opened a triple.
That's true. And with a much worse letter than an S too for bingoing. So
yeah, I think my only thought would be is if for some reason I'm remembering correctly that Madison did not used to take an S, maybe he thinks there's a chance he gets the +5. So is it 9 points better to open the triple? Maybe that makes a difference. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe.
If chat can hold me, keep me honest here as to whether or not That S hook is new.
Looks like
for the voice.
Anodize is going to be his choice here, which
Yeah.
will work out very well for him. Difficult to evaluate the relative risks of the two plays. And again, Dave did get burned, as you said earlier, opening a triple. So there is a lot of stuff that can happen here. But then again, the worst thing that can happen to you after a play like this is getting hit with the Z, right? That's what you're most afraid of with that Zoe hook there. And the Z's on the board. So not only that, the K is on the board. A couple other good scoring tiles like the H and Y already there. So maybe, and he just drew the J. Not that the J is very easy to fit up there. In fact, it's almost impossible to get a J play up there. So Dave, I think making what I don't know, I think I'm leaning towards Anodize's over Madison's.
Yeah, I think I would take it. And the other thing to consider here is he's going up with a big lead. It's those sorts of scoring spots that, Dave is most likely going to be in a better position to hit, right? Austin's trying to bingo, so he's not going to be keeping as many tiles that are going to go really nicely with that O. So, it's also that's kind of advice that we often give is if you're winning, opening these sorts of scoring spots where you're going to be able to, quickly just keep, pounding the score with 30, 40, 50 points, your opponent isn't going to be prioritizing those spots as much because they can't be. They need to be going for the 50 plus for the bingo bonus. So, it's possible Austin may try to neutralize it here with EINE, certainly an option. But again, if you open that big, huge spot and see someone come down with EINE, you're thrilled.
Yeah, I mean that's like music to Dave's ears here. Not a shout out to the background music for you there, but yeah, this is a play that you are happy to see in Dave's shoes. That's like as good of an outcome as you could get with opening that spot and only a 15-point response. So things going very well for Dave here. For those, and Dave, I guess if you are married and you like to exercise, you might go for a wife jog. But other than that,
do
Dave
you ever go for a wife jog?
No,
Allison does
neither
of
us. No, neither of us like jogging. We are not joggers.
Right.
So I have not gone for a wife jog. But yeah, joke looks like it scores pretty well through the K of Zakat. You get the J in a really high scoring spot, and you can see that is what Dave has opted for here. The leave of FGIW, not so good, but for 42 points, you'll take it. So are we worried at all about the underlaps under there? Oye with the R. I don't know. That's not that scary. I think this is fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's you don't want to leave it forever. But again, more often than not, Austin's going to leave that open because it's a great place for him to bingo for a bunch of points. So unless he's immediately got something big there, decent chance Dave ends up getting to capitalize on that spot anyway.
For sure.
Again, Oye takes a Z on the end, already gone. It takes, obviously, takes other letters, but that would be the quickest way to score some points, and he doesn't have to worry about that.
Topical joke by Raw Jersey, perhaps a tennis fan. Yeah, as he says.
Yeah.
And you put a D in front of joke. All the issues going on with Djokovic. But anyway, play a VAG by Austin looks clever, setting up that I that he already had on his rack. Of course, Dave also has an I, so not sure if there's a great play for Dave to block off that spot, but
looks like Wifed, which will also have the fortuity of blocking Militate.
Yeah, which, Wifed is called for here, and it looks like that will be the play just in time to block Militate double for Austin. That is a very, very timely play and clearly the right play, I think, for Dave Koenig. He doesn't know how right it was. Yeah, sorry. We're hopefully why is it not letting me do this? Okay. Automod doesn't really understand that we're playing Scrabble here, of course. But
Yeah.
was there a phony played? No. Basically, it's just been Austin's had a couple subpar racks, and Dave's hit the Z really hard, bingoed twice in a row, and then hit the J really hard. So he's just been piling points on while Austin's not drawn very well. It's not been Austin's fault here.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is not the way Austin wanted this game to go, to try and clinch this tournament, but he still has plenty of time. Whether it be in this game or the next game, right? Like, this game might not go in his favor, but then he's got an entirely new round 20 that if he just wins that one, I think he comes away with the win here. So,
yeah, I mean, and this is, I mean, for starters, this is a place where I wish resigning was allowed. I would resign this game instantly.
Yeah, just to keep your energy. Yeah, your energy, right? Like, why not preserve yourself for the next game? So that's totally, yeah, if ever there was a spot to throw in the towel and not burn brain power, this does seem like a pretty good one. So, yeah, we shall see.
And Will, I will let you know they've decided to start vacuuming. I may have to mute myself because of the vacuuming.
No worries. Yeah, we'll just play it by ear.
People need to do their jobs, but
yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, getting up and explaining to people doing their jobs that, hey, I'm commentating a Scrabble tournament here. It's not likely to resonate.
Yeah, I'm 3 feet outside 10 feet outside the private event sign as it is. But yeah, as Zuklia points out, what about just speeding through the game to conserve energy? Like,
that's as good as you can do.
Yeah.
That's as good as you can do, right? You can't resign. That's not permitted. So the best thing you could do would be to just autopilot this and then go hard in game 20. Hope that it's a more equitable draw.
Yep, so. That's the idea.
Now, for me, I don't actually do that. I'm not smart enough to ever conserve. I'm always I don't really think I've ever done that successfully. I always get wrapped up in just trying to come back in the game, even if it's hopeless. So
yeah, and you also just win the game. You're never in this situation because you just don't lose.
No, wrong. Definitely incorrect. I have lost plenty of games, lost my fair share of games. Somebody like Austin Shin is every bit as solid of a player as I am. So, yeah, unfortunately, I wish I could say that it's just, I'm so great that I never get into those situations, but that is not the case. So a thought of just fit, that would be a little too crazy. In this particular case, it would work, right, if Austin were to play FITTE, but it doesn't score very well. And I think from Austin's perspective, he could play something like Flemit here for 36, opening the board.
You know the word.
Yeah.
You know the word Flemit.
Yeah, you would have to know Flemit, which, again, that's not your everyday normal word. Past tense of fleam. An archaic Scottish word in its own right, but that seems like what's called for here. So, yeah, Arden asks, is point spread part of the ranking? Yes, it is the primary way that tiebreakers are assessed. So if two players have the same win total, their cumulative point spread over the course of the entire tournament is being calculated, and whoever is higher up on that metric will get the tiebreaker. So we did have a discussion about this on a previous, I can't remember whether it was Saturday or Sunday, of, the pros and cons.
It's because it was both days.
Both days? Okay. Well, the pros and cons of that are pretty well established. It is kind of inertia surrounding it right now. It's quote unquote the way it's always been done. And I think there are a lot of people who would not be sad to see it change to another tiebreaker method, just because it does feel, okay, we see Fetial. Instead of Flemit.
Play if you don't know Flemit, that
totally
seems like a play.
Agreed. Yeah, if not Flemit, then this makes sense, just to get as many points as you can and open the board a little further. So I'm agreeing with that choice for Austin here. Dave looks like he wanted to play Ghibli to the eye of terminal, and now he has much more incentive to play that same word to the eye of fetial. Fetial. Wow, we saw Mechanate earlier on Dave Wiegand's rack when he passed up Melatonin. He ended up playing Mechanate.
Yeah. That was against Austin, right?
And it was against Austin, yeah. So we actually saw Dave Wiegand play Aerosat for the second time really, really early on in the first game here. So, yeah, we're likely to see another bingo that we've seen. Then again, Ghibli, oh, look at this. Bite instead. Okay, that looks like, I wonder why this over Ghibli.
Did he miss it, or did he have it spelled out?
He had it spelled out.
Oh, he had it spelled. Oh, okay. I would say he just missed it, but
yeah, he surely had.
No, if he had it spelled out, yeah, that's. I mean, we have noticed Dave do this a few times. He will put the play on the board and kind of,
Well, now he's using that board as a workspace, but is he gonna fix this and switch? This is a big swing.
Yeah, I think using the board as the workspace is when you're literally moving stuff around and kind of like obscuring the other opponent's vision of the board. I think putting a play on the board and like thinking about it, I think is okay. I don't think that's the spirit of the rule.
But what is the rationale for Blight here for 24 instead of Ghibli for 2 more points and blocking more, right? Like if you play your word through the I of fetial instead of the T, you're blocking the T, I, and A. Yeah, and here he's paying the price. He had that word spelled out on his rack. So I'm intrigued by that choice.
Maybe he wasn't 100% sure of it. That's a hard word to not be 100% sure of if you've watched any movie from Japan ever.
Anyway, it's Austin's going to cut into the deficit. Dave has a terrible rack, and we'll just have to see, is Austin going to draw well off of this bingo? And that might be his chance. And boy, okay, doesn't look like it yet. Let's see. Need something good here. Oh, wow. So those last 2 letters give him oreganum. So... Oh,
goodness gracious.
So Austin started that rack with IOU, and he drew into another bingo that's going to play to the M of terminal. Is there a way that possibly ever gets blocked with the upper corner of the board just staring Dave in the face as a good place to play?
All I know is I want to know whatever Wheaties Austin has been eating this tournament.
You want some?
To get this stuff out of the bag.
The breakfast of champions. Yeah.
Goodness, who wouldn't do anything for some of these drawers?
Yeah. So Austin sees it clearly. He has it lined up. So this is a big Blight versus Ghibli. It's like the tiniest little nuance, right? The only difference is 2 points between the plays. That's not a lot of points. And blocking the A of fetial with Ghibli, and Blight does not accomplish that. So the plays are so similar, but look at the difference in this particular situation. It's going to be huge, right? Dave's going to score well, but then Austin's going to bingo again and draw into a bag that has the second blank still available. Actually, it has both blanks.
Yeah, I would say if this game is all of a sudden not over anymore.
Let me get you guys tracking.
All I can think is that he just wasn't 100% sure of Ghibli. It's a TWL word. He's, certainly would have studied it before.
He had it lined up. Yeah, he had it lined up. So.
Yeah, he may have just chickened out of it, and we do that, and it's the thing. You're up by so much, right? That it's just like, well, let's play the thing I'm 100% sure, because I'm still, in this case, as Dave is making the play of Blight, he's gonna win, 49 out of 50 games or something, or maybe not quite, but he's such a huge favorite that it's like, well, the worst thing I could do here is play a phony. So
here he plays PUY here, and this is interesting because it scores 31 compared to those same letters. If you just slotted them slightly down and to the left with bum and lie, you would get 5 more points out of this.
And even better, he could have played BUY, setting up his P for bump.
Yeah, so a slight inaccuracy again here for Dave,
Yeah.
it's
He
again,
might
these
be,
aren't big mistakes, but starting
might
to
be,
take on
might be
some water
rattled.
here.
Yeah. Could be a little rattled here. I don't know.
Oh man, the Q, and look at that. Dave's drawn the Q. So now, from Dave's perspective, Austin's just bingoed with a natural into a very close to empty, like not empty, but rapidly dwindling bag that has both blanks in it. Are we going to see Austin pick one of those?
Yeah,
Yes.
too bad that I resigned.
Yeah, I
Too
guess.
bad. Sucks to be me. I do wonder though,
Oh man.
in this case, do you play Boyd and try to draw for QI, or do you just take QI for 22? Obviously, we know that he will get burned pretty badly, but
Boyd is good. Another idea is to play Veined through EINE at the top of the board.
oh,
Too.
that's so sick. Oh, that's so cool.
So that's
And the best part is
33. Yeah.
he has two Ds. He can actually play both of them, so he can actually score pretty well while holding on to the
While
Q,
he's
which is kind of
trying
what
to
he
draw.
needs.
Yeah, while you're trying to get a U or an I for Chi. And you do have the Q spot sitting there alongside Blight that you can eventually pop that down for a few points. But we'll see. Okay, Boyd is the play. That's clever. That's a nice spot. It's not quite as good as Veined, but Boyd is still a solid choice, scoring well. But Austin is sitting on some good stuff here. So let's see. He's got his X play underneath Oreganum for 52, leaving the blank.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow. This is crazy. Another potential massive comeback for Austin in the offing here. We saw it against Puneet Sharma.
Yeah, though do note that Dave did pick up an I, so because Austin had the better spot for the X, Dave will be able to drop QI for more than 50 back.
Good point. Yep.
So Dave
True.
did hit that I that he obviously was going for by holding on to the Q. This time after the last couple of awkward racks, he did get the letter he so desperately needed.
Yeah, true. So we're almost certain to see Dave play just Chi right here for 51. Let me get these scores updated for you guys. They're coming in rapidly. The score after this, 417 to 338 in favor of Dave. And wow, look at this. An S for the Zakat hook. That could prove huge for Austin. It is worth noting that is it possible that I know you kind of want to keep the eye on Fox. So like Austin had an option to play Fox or Fix there. And I'm just wondering, like, is there any world in which you want to actually play Fix instead, just because the O is a little better with WI? Like COW looks better to me than CIW.
Probably so, but he's also weighing the fact that he could draw the Q. Like
that Q's lurking. Yeah.
He's still
sure.
kind of considering probably all of the things.
I think that could be hindsight, or that could be my commentator's omniscience talking, where I see that Dave has the Q, Austin doesn't know that, and he fully realizes that as he would Austin Shin, scoring never stops, right? He's trying to ensure that if he does pick that Q, he'll play Fox for 50 and then Chi for 50, and he'll be right back in the game. So that's truly. That's probably the best way to go. I'm just throwing it out there that I would rather have an O than an I right now on his rack. Not that there's anything great with it, but
yeah, and I think ultimately I'm probably gonna, like, while I agree short term, I would probably try to look ahead a turn or two and say, what am I gonna want more in a couple turns? And I'm guessing I is probably the answer more often than not, though neither is like wonderful.
Right.
This could continue to be interesting, but Dave's tiles are just good enough. He still has Veined in reserve, or just dropping the D at Joked and Eld.
True.
He may smack down Boars and Zakats just to neutralize that spot, make sure the remaining, bingo lane is going to give him plenty, or the main bingo lane remaining. There's still the L hiding over there.
Yeah, Austin seems to be considering just playing wuss and zakats right here to get rid of his WU combination at a cost of getting rid of that S as well. I guess maybe that's doable because you have the sevens lane on wifed, right? The ED of wifed out in space. To the left of that is a pretty good lane to play bingos. And then maybe with that blank, you have enough flexibility to play something from the L of Fetial. That's really what you want here if you're Austin.
And if you look at the pool remaining, right, that's a good pool for CIN blank.
Very good.
I don't see any C's, I don't see any I's, and I don't see any N's, and I see some A's, some E's, some O's, a bunch of R's, some T. It's exact, like, the odds of him drawing a bingo now are really high.
Yeah, scary situation here for Dave for sure. Let me just get you his tracking so we can see what he's looking at. This is a crazy situation.
Yeah,
he's looking at 2 blanks in the pool too.
Yeah.
So this is just, you know, very, very scary. Oh, look at all. Okay, so Austin has at least drawn a 7 that plays parallel to wifed. That's huge.
Interesting suggestion from Mind Games in the chat of just VERS.
Oh man,
that's kind of evil. I mean, the L is still open.
That is so through the E of wifed. Oh man, so you're just. That's cool. It's a cool idea. It's a cool idea. That's gonna block a lot of stuff for sure.
Yeah, and it still saves the D. I mean, you look at what is still unseen to Dave, and you know, both of those blanks. You know, I don't know, but at the same time, you also wonder, like, well,
what about this? What about droved through the D and E of Mechanate?
That's so cool. I love it.
How about droved? What do we think of that?
Yeah, I love the idea. The issue is that it's, you know, he might like Vers allows you to not get outscored as much.
For sure. For sure.
But the nice thing about Vers, you know, Dave, if nothing else, probably sees joked and L'd and knows that.
Oh, clever play.
I'm looking
He's
at
played it.
Yeah. Chat, let me know if my internet is dying here.
You're fine. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. Yeah.
Oh, no worries. I do know that I'm in a department store, so yeah. Honestly, nice move by Dave, because you know, now there's really only one remaining lane. I suspect that Austin will do something to, you know, open the board and give multiple spots. Dave really wanting to draw the blank here does draw a bingo.
Does draw a bingo, but no blank.
But no blank. Will, how many tiles are in the bag? I promise to
so I
pay
have
attention.
the tracking you guys see on screen is now correct. The scores are correct. It's Dave 443 to Austin 369, and there are 5 tiles in the bag.
Mm-hmm. So that one nice thing for Dave is that he doesn't have to worry about Austin making a 6-tile play next to the E, playing down, scoring a bunch, and opening the triple, because obviously wouldn't have enough tiles up. So that's nice.
One of the 5 tiles in the bag is the second blank, by the way.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of situations here, I suspect, where Austin, you know, maybe plays off 3 tiles, and you know, Dave just doesn't stop scoring and just drops down to the D. There's also probably situations here where Austin opens a bingo, perhaps. Or,
the tricky thing is, how does he do that while still, I mean, does he play something like WAP, W-A-P, or something like that? That's going to give uprooted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could I could easily see making a play like that to create a second spot on the board. And that's going to be devastating for Austin if he does it, obviously.
And not only a second spot, but a second spot to have 2 big scoring bingos. He, like, lest we forget, he's made a great comeback. He's still down a lot of points. Not just bingoing isn't enough. He needs to bingo for a lot catch Dave with some tiles on his rack, whatever. So he doesn't need to force the issue here. And spread isn't really an issue for Dave anyway, or for Austin anyway, I don't think. So he can kind of, he's got some, he's got plenty of stuff to play with here.
Yeah, it's just it's just realizing that Dave is a human being and is never gonna let Austin play from that L, right? Like, so what is the other threat that you have here? Nothing. If you're Austin, you have to make some other threat, or Dave can simply play short through the L and end this. So I'm just imagining that Austin is very likely to open something new, and the question is he? I feel like my play might be WAP. Maybe something like Patty through the AD of Zakats and Boyd. Is that safer? I mean, I don't love that play either.
I think as was it Megan Thee Stallion would agree, WAP is the play here.
Yeah, just joshing. Those two plays in the same game, slightly thematic. We'll see.
Yeah, Patty, also a reasonable play. I think he probably might get outscored too much, but he did just move, I think, the PI over to the side, which does, in fact, knock out Joked.
That'll be nice.
It would instantly end the game, right? IO, game over.
Right, outdoer, of course.
From Austin's perspective, seems reasonable.
Yeah, so either he plays Patty and gets hit with Outdoer, or he plays WAP and gets hit with Uprooted. And
I think the other thing to even consider is look at the pool that Austin is looking at. Like, there's still a blank unseen to him.
And all good bingo tiles. Literally every tile that's remaining is a 1-point tile or a D that's not much more and is good for bingos. So this is a scary. This is like a no-win situation, really.
And I think that's why you just go ahead and play like something like WAP. I think it's justified here.
Yeah. So Dave will get his triple if that is the play. Let's see. Oh man.
Yeah. Now, question for you, Will, with a rack of catnip. What is your brand of choice for Happy Cats?
That reminds me, it's been a while since I gave our cats any catnip, and they really do like it. So if anybody has any catnip recommendations, I will be sure to take those into account.
There you go. I will say I'm actually set up in such a way now that if we really did want to interview a player, we could probably do it pretty safely.
Wow.
Although you might not get to see both of us on the screen. I could jump off the screen and let them talk. So if there's anyone really wants to chat with, we could maybe see after the last round if we can get someone out here to talk. Let's see maybe who wins.
That would be cool. Yeah, we'll see if we can do that. It would be neat. So
yeah.
Thoughts on Eric? Oh, that's a cool idea.
Eric's a good guy.
Eric, Erickson Smith that we've seen on stream a bunch. But what about Eric off of the E and the R of Fetiel? That's reasonable. Of course, if
you get outscored way too much, I think
you do, you may still need points, but Pact opens an A hook, leaves the L line. That's true. Pact is another possibility off of the E of Mechanate.
Seems likely that Austin's going to he's had PI out for a while.
There it is.
Yeah, trying to talk himself out of it.
Yep. So there's Patty. And that's going to do it for this game because Outdoor or Outroad is going to come down and finish this guy off here.
Ooh, and there's and gets the two blanks.
Second blank. Yeah.
Will he at least get to bingo out for
after Outdoor
keep it respectable
or Outroad? I'm not sure actually. So he has Cat, NR, and 2 blanks.
And
I guess not. Actually, I guess not. So Dave is going to go up to 513, and Austin has 384, and I don't believe he's going to have any option for Oh, pwn. Yeah, pwn, a play that I miss all the time. Maybe
Yeah.
that was the idea. Yeah,
It was suggested. It was I think
Oh,
the
okay.
first play suggested by Noah SL a while back.
Okay. Sorry, I missed that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
No, probably would have been an improvement on Putty. I'm still in the WAP camp because it is an actual path to like victory.
Yeah. You need a massive bingo.
Yeah.
So it's not enough just to get a little one. Um, So yeah, question: is it a loss if the clock runs out? No, you simply start taking 10 points off your score for each minute you go overtime. So as soon as you go 1 second overtime, you lose 10 points. Then when you go a minute and 1 second overtime, or well, a minute overtime, you lose another 10 points. So yeah. So anyway, Dave is going to get this bingo down. Well, he chooses outdoer instead of outroad. Probably not a big difference either way. Certainly from Austin's perspective, there are no bingos for him here. So
Yeah.
yeah, um,
Reenact almost fits, but no RC.
true. So Dave lives to fight another round. I wonder. Yeah, Ultimacy says if only NP was a word for platonic, but even platonic, I think would have been not enough points in that situation. I think Dave is still going to be fine. So yeah. Anyway, I wonder if this means Dave gets another crack at Austin. I guess that's somewhat dependent on the result of the other game, isn't it?
It will depend on that. We did see Josh and Dr. Bing go up for a challenge at one point, but that is, so far as the only information that I have, it does appear that their score has not been submitted yet.
Yeah,
So
they're
we'll
still
see.
playing. They are still playing. So, wow, this was a crazy game. Austin did very well to continue to fight and give himself some pretty realistic winning chances. Certainly after Fox, the score of the game was 366 to 338. Austin had come back from being down by approximately 140 points to cut that gap to 28 points. But Dave did very well from there. He bombed his cue, got 50 points, and made a very, very clever play of VERS, right? That VERS play suggested by Mind Games in the chat. That saved him from Austin bingoing a little bit earlier and preserved his winning chances in the game. So good job to Dave Koenig here.
Yeah. Now it is worth noting though, if Dave had not picked up that eye, I mean, really, a lot of this comes down to he picked up that one of the two remaining eyes for QI.
That was a huge pick.
One.
Yeah, for sure.
Who knows what happens if not for that? This is, potentially a very different story if he doesn't pick up one of those eyes.
Would Austin's chances? Yeah, interesting question. I mean,
probably not.
I just feel like you keep CFOW on your rack after that.
Keeping CFW. Oh yeah, it's too much, and he picks up the Q, game's instantly over. For example, he's got to keep those spots open for himself so that the scoring will never stop, and the scoring will stop too much after SI.
Very true. Very true. So, he had a blank, but I definitely think, with that open spot alongside Wifed, you can actually get some bingos sometimes holding VIC blank, but you really are never bingoing with VOCF blank there. So, I think I do prefer Austin's pathway. Not only that, because if he draws the Q himself, he has the eye to hit that spot. So I'm coming around to Austin's approach there. So Austin plays Nectar, and he has the second blank sitting there on his rack unused. That's always a bit tragic when that happens. So Dave has nothing left to do but find the best play for his A, E, and R, and that's going to be it for him. So a nice win. And again, we just wait and see who will get the coveted right to face off against Austin in round 20 for all the marbles. Very, very excited to see how this shakes out here.
It is always fun as a streamer or as an observer. You always want it to come down to the last game. You know, nothing personal to any of the players, but you know, obviously we want to see it come down to the last moment. So obviously the entire stream certainly benefits from a Dave win here, just in the sense of the excitement being extended for one more game. But you know, if nothing else, just a really fun game.